Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my page. For those that are new to my page, my name is Nikki. I'm very much, honored that you are all taking the time to get into my life. I think this is my third or my fourth life. I am not sure yet, but I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Also with my doggy Bear. He's right over there laying on his bed. But I really thought it was interesting to jump in today to the live. I've not done a video, which I'm gonna do a video today about my topic today. But I know my last topic was about GPT and asking GPT if she was the devil or he was the devil, then how would it ruin 21st centuries? And a lot of these videos when I make them because I have come across a topic that I felt it touched my heart because I felt I was in that same situation. So then I'll do a video. First, I'll think about it. I do some research in regards to the topic. I look at the Bible because I think that this is the one main thing that I'm very much happy about my journey, even though it's been a tough road. It has got me to open the Bible and read the Bible and understand the Bible, not just hearing it through my pastor or not just hearing it through other, people's um journey or other people's words, but the fact that I'm opening the Bible and I'm doing my own research and I'm trying to get to know the word. And I find a lot of comfort on a lot of things that I'm going through and a lot of things that, questions that I have had. But I saw a video a couple of days ago and I really want to ask you what you think about suffering, and do you think it's because, you were suffering, or you suffered because your faith was not strong enough or your belief was not strong enough? And I asked this because the videos that I was looking at, the it was shown that a lot of people feel misled by the whole situation about faith. They're being told that because they did not pray well or they did not do certain things the right way, that's why they're going through what they're going through, whatever their season is, whether it was, lost a job or, a sickness or so on. And we get so frustrated on the topic of faith, or more like we get so disappointed at the fact that, oh my gosh, I don't have faith enough. This is why, I'm going through what I'm going through. And I want you to know it's not, to me at least, that's not the case. There's no way whatsoever that you have to do certain things in order to have faith so God can help you in whatever you're going through. I mean, can someone tell me who has the most perfect faith, that their life is so perfect that that's what we are required? There's no one in the world whatsoever that can tell you you don't have enough faith or you don't believe enough in God and that's why you're going through what you're going through. That's not true. I want you to know, and I have said it before in my other videos, that there's nothing that you can do to earn God's grace. You believe in him. Whatever your journey is, whatever little faith you have, it's the only opportunity, or that's the only little bit that Jesus needs in order to walk into your life and do great things or help you go through a horrible season, because God doesn't just come around just to give you all the greatness and your life is going to be perfect. I mean, we have to remember God in the Bible did not say, or Jesus in the Bible did not say, as long as you walk with me, you're going to have no problems. No, if you look at John 16:13, Jesus says, in the world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. So that right there tells you that Jesus knew this whole time that this world was not going to be fair. We live in a world that it's not fair. But Jesus is here to walk us through whatever process we have to go through. So if you're afraid of suffering, I want to tell you that it's more about how you see the whole word suffering. Suffering, yes, it's painful. But have you thought about that maybe after that one suffering you're going through, how much you're going to grow? I mean, even in the Bible, and I always say the Bible because every little problem I have had, I instead of going and look for a help book, which, if you're one of those people that you love to read those, don't take me wrong. If it helps you, awesome. But for me, I like to go first to the Bible and see what the Bible says and what the Bible, tells us, what Jesus tells us about certain, problems that we have had. So for me, one is that Jesus never said, if you follow me, you're going to have no trouble. No, he said that if he is admitting that you will have trouble in this world, but he has overcome everything. So that means don't worry about it. I know you're going through that tough time, but I got it. I know what you're going through. Trust me, I got it. He can see, the difference or the great things that are going to come in our life that he's telling us, I got you. I mean, what if you, let's say an example, if you were going through something and Jesus tells you, look, just hang on. Look, I have something for you. Let me show you what I have for you. And he shows you the future. Wouldn't you just say, okay, I understand now. I have to go through this because that's it's going to happen. And I know I'm going to be okay. So it's okay, Jesus. I got it. Just give it to me, whatever hard time I'm about to go through. I got it because you show me the future. But in this case, he's not showing us the future. He's given us faith to trust in him, to believe that he has something greater for us once we get to overcome that problem, once we get to overcome that challenge. Also, another thing is that pain changes us to be better, to improve ourselves, to let go of a fear or let go of a bad relationship that is not for us, or to let go of certain troubles of our life that we couldn't let go. So he's given us that moment to prepare, to get us ready, to get us ready for something bigger that is to come. So on Roman 5:34, it says that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. I don't think I met one person that have said, um, because of my troubles, I couldn't succeed. Or no, more because of my trouble, I hate the fact that I'm successful. Or because of my, heart moments, I hate the fact that that I'm a billionaire. Everything has to have its purpose. And whatever challenge you're going through right now, you will, grow a thicker skin, like some people like to say, or you're going to know if you come around that same similar situation again, you're going to know what to do. That, instead of dwelling into that problem, you're going to know, okay, I've been through this. I already know what to do. I have to do steps A, B, C, and D. Um, and this comes with relationships, right? Like, I know in the past I've been in relationships where they were not healthy, and whenever I encounter a new relationship, I would be like, that looks very familiar at the one that I had before. I already know where this is going to go. I don't want this. I don't need this." Um, so because of that, it's that I was able to learn patterns that maybe I had, or when a relationship was good or bad, and it helped me to make a better choice to who I was going to marry in the future. And also this goes with anyone. This goes as an example of a mother, and going through a hard times with my daughter, and knowing that God was getting me ready for when she was a teenager. For those that are, their parents, and they know what having a teen means. It's not easy, right? There comes times where you break down and you don't know what you're doing as a parent. Well, God prepared me those hard times to be, or to know what decisions to make with my daughter. So pain shapes you, and it helps you to walk with God more. Hold on to him a little bit harder, and trust in this whole process. Also want to bring up the fact that there's even in the New Testament, Paul at some point was hurting, And I want to read this to you because I thought it was important that even Paul, which is the Apostle Paul, he had an amazing faith in God. Remember, he was Saul before, he was prosecuting a lot of Christians, just like Christians. And along the way, he met Jesus, he had an encounter with Jesus, and forever things changed for him after that. And he became he became Paul. So I want to read this to you. Second Corinthians. I lost my page, but I tend to be ready, I promise. But it says on Second Corinthians 12:7. If you have a Bible, I suggest you go through it too with me because sometimes my Bible can read things a little bit more different than yours. Hi, Terry. I think I said it right, right? I'm sorry if I didn't say it right. But welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I was talking about suffering and I want to know how you feel about it. And I ask this because we all tend to feel that suffering it's always a bad thing. And it's not, right? Suffering, it's meant to happen so it can help us grow to be a better person, and we tend to blame it on God for our suffering. But little do we know is that on the other side of suffering, things are going to get better. Things are going to improve. I mean, I was looking at some videos a couple of days ago, and a lot of people think that because you don't have enough faith, or maybe your faith is not as strong, that's the reason you go through suffering. So they become even more, I like to say, depressed, and they push away more from God because they feel like, okay, God, what kind of, what type of faith do I need to have in order to feel you, in order for you to listen to my prayers? But it's not about that. It's about just trusting the process that things are going to change, that things are going to get better. Suffering has always happened. In the Old Testament, we see a lot in Psalm, scriptures where it talks about, when God are you going to hear me? We hear a lot of that suffering. And then in the New Testament, we have Saul or Paul actually, that who's a person that believed in Jesus so much. I mean, at some point, as I said before, he did not trust Jesus, did not like Jesus, prosecuted a lot of Christians. And when he met Jesus along the way, he changed his life. He became to believe in Jesus, and he was, saying his testimony and preaching all over. Well, preaching in a few places that I know of. I don't know specifically yet where, but he was preaching Jesus' word. And Paul actually went through also hard times. In Second Corinthians 12:7, it says, let me see if I can find it. Um, yeah, God, I forgot where it was. But I'm gonna try to see 2 Corinthians 12:7. His spiritual gift is given to us. I'm not sure where I had it marked down, but it talks about pretty much that there's a thorn also, that he's been praying to Jesus to take it out, but Jesus has said no. And he feels that the whole reason it's happening because he doesn't want Paul doesn't want Jesus doesn't want Paul to feel that he's just a super special man, and that's why he has the greatest gift of speaking to other people about Jesus. I'm so sorry. I had written it down, but I cannot find it. But even then, after the pain or the thorn that Paul had, he still trusted Jesus um, that he was going to be okay, despite of the season that he was going through. Now, I don't know if this was a physical pain or spiritual mental pain, but I know that through the Old Testament and through the New Testament, we see that suffering has been going on for some time. So this is not something that just happened 200 years ago or we started suffering 500 years ago. It's been going on for quite some time. So through that suffering, we will get through it. You will become a better person. And I know it's hard to see it at the time, but this is why I always tell people open the Bible. And I feel yes, 100%, Terry. I feel you. I think that a lot of times, we don't understand why the suffering. We don't understand it. We want to know why. We want to know what's the purpose. And I like to say, what if God, would it be easier? And I'm sure the answer is going to be yes. If Jesus would show us, okay, look, once you go through this suffering, this is the great thing that is coming for you. Would you want that? Of course, we're going to answer yes. I want to know what's the reason of the suffering so I can keep going. But we have something is called faith, and it's trusting that that things are going to get better. I mean, we have our past. I'm sure you can think of anything in your past where you had struggled about something, whether it's a relationship, school, work, or anything at that point, health as well, or parents. And in that moment, if you focus how challenging it was and how you did not know whatsoever how your life was going to change and things were going to get better. If you remember that moment, that is how every single moment of our life is. We don't get to see it, but something great will happen. Something is whatever you're going through is getting you ready for whatever you're going to face in the future. For me, I've said before, it's been relationships. If going through a hard relationship and then a new one coming in, knowing already, if it was this good, is this going to be bad, is this going to be my future husband, knowing that all those hard moments I went through helped me to know the kind of husband I'm going to have now, the kind of father that I want my child to have. So the same thing is for you. I'm sorry that you're going through a really hard time. I'm really sorry. And I know that things are going to get better for you. I know we want things to get easier, faster. We want to get over this whole pain, but it will get better. You will know your purpose and you're going to look back again and say, okay, now I understand why I had to go through what I had to go through. It sucks. I wish we lived in a world, right, that we don't suffer. But God says that there is a world and He promised us that world. In the meantime, we have to be in this world where it's not fair. And I wish that a lot of people knew that it's not because, okay, I don't have this much amount of faith that God is making me go through what I'm going through. I notice also I have people that follow the law of attractions and other type of method outside of the Bible that they get into these programs when they're like, okay, it says that I have to do this 10 steps. And if I do them, then my life is gonna change. They do those 10 steps. They get so obsessed on doing all the things that the book said that they'll do and their life will change. And then after they do them, they feel horrible because they feel like, okay, maybe I didn't believe enough, or maybe I did not put much effort in it. And they end up actually feeling worse. And I always tell people, if that made you feel like that, then that's not the program for you. Look at the Bible, and the Bible tells you that life is not easy. Why don't you trust on that? Trust in the fact that things will get better instead of getting obsessed on a program that is going to supposedly give you this, amazing miracle life and you're going to be a billionaire and it's going to make you feel worse. Why don't you just open the Bible and believe that God is going to change this for you? That there's a process to this. Um I always tell people open the Bible. Just open it. Whatever problem you're going through, the Bible is going to have it. I have not read the Bible every single page, but I know for me, I said it before, I have used GPT. I try to find people that can help me to navigate through the Bible and understand the Bible, and I have not found anyone yet. But I'm sure I'm gonna meet people that can help me to understand a little bit more. So in the meantime, yes, open the Bible 100%. Yes, girl. Um, but in the meantime, what I do is that, I get a certain topic, I Google, I do the GPT whole thing. And then I ask questions, where else can I find this in the Old Testament? Where can I find this in the New Testament? What does this mean? What type of time were they living, right? Because, for example, if I want to be a good mom, it takes me to Proverbs. And in Proverbs, I believe it's Proverbs 21, I'm not sure. It gives you a list of, women should be. A lot of those things are obtainable in the modern world, and a lot of them are not. So then I asked GPT, what type of world were people living at that time, women? And they'll explain to me, well, men were responsible solely of, bringing the bread home, and the women were responsible for this, and that. So a lot of those things that the proverb says we can still do as a woman, but a lot of them we can because a lot of us are single mothers, right? So we can't just depend on a man to come and bring the bread home. We have to go and work, or they have to go and work. So a lot of things are different. So I always ask GPT what type of world where they're living, what women did, and try to be more breaking things down a lot more as I can. So that's the way I do my Bible studies. Whenever I'm feeling sad, I always ask GPT immediately, you know, where I can find about sadness, or where I can find about debt. I know a lot of people use a method of getting out of debt with the Bible, and I think that's pretty cool. I known people that are very successful with opening the Bible and learning about debt. Also, if you have envy, if there's jealousy, it also walks you through that. So I say, open the Bible. Open the Bible. Anything you need to know, the Bible is going to tell you. Now, if help books help you, like I said, by all means, good for you. But for me, the Bible teaches me everything. The law of attraction tells you ask and feel as you have received it. The Bible also tells you ask and receive, feel as you already have it. Also, law of attraction says to be thankful, talks about thankfulness, be thankful, thankful, thankful. The Bible also says that to be thankful for everything that you have or that you want. And it helps me more to stay with the word of God. Um, for me, it gives me peace to know that every time I gone through something, if I go through it again, then it reminded me, wait, the Bible says this already. I either write it down or I save it on my phone, and then I'll remember that, a phrase or a verse that can help me get through the day. I use this for everything. So I suggest anyone that has a problem or anyone that is dealing with anything, open the Bible. Just open it. Ask GPT, do you have a verse about depression? Do you have a verse about anxiety? And don't feel that, okay, Jesus will not know, how I feel because he didn't go through what I go through. I used to say that as well. I used to say, okay, well, Jesus wouldn't know about my marriage when he's not a woman and he wasn't married. But the thing is that when Jesus died, he felt all of our pain. He died for all of our sins and our pain. So he knows everything. That's what it makes it so great about him, is that he knows everything. He did not have to be a woman to know what labor is. He did not have to be a mother to know what having kids are. He knows every single thing. Don't ask me how. He knows it. I think that's the best miracle to know. For me, it feels good that there is someone. I know he's not in. God is not an entity, but Jesus was. To know that there is someone that loves me and knows what I'm going through. Now, it still does not put my faith 100%. I still struggle with it. I still hurt. I still go through my questions. I don't want anyone to think, well, the moment you started opening the Bible, your life got better. It doesn't work that way. Um, but it does help me to get stronger on my faith. So instead of falling apart and saying, God, you forgot me, or, why are you punishing me? It's more about, God, I know you have a purpose and I know I can trust you. Forgive me for not trusting you. Forgive me for being mad at you. just help me get through the day or help me get through what I'm going through. And I say that so many times. And I always tell him, sorry that I don't believe in you 100% yet. I'm trying. I'm walking through it. So be patient with me. And that's the beautiful thing about him is that Jesus is love, right? He came to tell us and to show us that God is so forgiving. I mean, you have an example of Jonah in the Bible. You know, if Jonah is somebody who was running away from, God's mission that he was telling him to go to a certain city to talk about him, to preach about him. And instead, he was running away the other way. Got in the boat, wanted to get away from God as much possible. But through that whole time, Jesus, God was like, okay, you're running away. You don't want to go? Okay. You want to get on the boat? Okay, I still love you. Or you want to go through that? Okay. You want to get eaten by fish? Okay. And he kept forgiving Jonah again and again. Um, you know, Jonah was in the stomach of a fish for 3 days. I think it's 3 nights and three days, 3 nights. To finally he got out and God forgave him. And then Jonah went to go do what God had told him. And despite in that moment, even Jonah during that time after he was let free, he was still doubting God and the mission that God wanted him to do. But God still forgave him and was still loving him. So I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, thank you." Yes. I definitely think it has helped me and I think it's very very helpful. The Bible it's so easy to just open it. We have it on our phones. And it's just amazing. It's amazing. He's a loving God. And a lot of us have read the Bible, the Old Testament. I know that I've gone through a few verses where sometimes it's a little scary what the Old Testament shows, but that's the reason Jesus came to tell us that God is forgiving. And if you want to read the story of Jonah, I definitely recommend it. You can see constantly Jonah not wanting to do what God told him to do, wanting to run the other way, but despite him running the other way, God was forgiving, was still loving him, was still giving him chances. I mean, giving the chances to live again. What are the odds on that, right? You get eaten by a fish, you're going to die immediately. But he forgave Jonah, did not have the fish killed him. And after that, still Jonah doubted him, but God was still forgiving him. That is what God is. And I know that in times it doesn't feel like that, but we have to remember that even in those hard times, we have to grab as much faith as we have. Whether you think it's little faith, whether you think it's a lot of faith, whatever, whatever you are in your level of believing in him, wherever you are in your, Christian path, just hold on to that little bit that you feel you have because it will grow and it will get stronger. You will get through that day. I'm telling you, I deal with that a lot where now looking back, I thought I used to have a relationship with Jesus. I believed in him. I knew there was somebody bigger than me. There was a Bible. I never read it. I mean, I'm a Latina girl and in our world, a lot of us, I'm not sure if you grew up like this as well, Terry, but our parents or our grandparents have a Bible either in the room or they have it in the entrance of their home and they feel that just by having the Bible there, that's going to be protection. And that doesn't work like that, right? We have to open the Bible and get to know the Word of God in order for us to be protected, in order for us to carry that shield with us for whatever the day will come. And it has helped me to open it. It has helped me to see that I did walk with Jesus before in a different way than what I do now. But it's incredible how I had to struggle with my health in order for me to finally open the Bible. So it's kind of like I had a great job 7 years ago. I had a great life and not that I don't have it now. I have it better, but I used to think that okay, I don't have to talk to Jesus. We're good. We're cool. I just know he exists and then that's it. Or if we talked, it was always about what I can get out of the conversation. So I like to think it was like a transactional kind of relationship. But Jesus had to have me hurt in order for me to open the Bible and actually getting to really know him, um, and getting to believe in him. And I think that I would have not known the things that I know now if it wasn't for those moments. So suffering is not always bad. It's always a way of God calling us and saying, "Hey, listen, knock knock, I'm trying to get your attention. How about we open the Bible? How about you can understand what I did for you long time ago?" Or um yes, he does. He does get our attention, and sometimes I feel like he'll do it little by little, and then if we're not getting it, that's when it's like something big happened, and we're like, "Okay, finally, God, like, what do you want?" Right? And he knows that that was going to happen. And once he gets our attention, we're like, "Okay, you know, let's do this. Let me get closer to you." Because when you if you think of this, but when you have been at your most best time of your life ever, do you feel that you're constantly thanking God that you do you get very closer to do you get close to him? I feel like a lot of us when we are at our best in our life, we forget about God. We don't pray as much. We don't read the Bible as much. It's when we're hurting, when we finally break down, that we are like, "Okay, God, I need you." And that's when he walks in and he says, "Okay, I am here. You forgot about me a little bit, but let's get back again together and let me show you why you are here in this world for a mission that I need you to do." We didn't come here for us to just grow on our own and be successful for uh, how can I say this? We didn't come here for us. We came here because we're supposed to complete a mission for Jesus. That's what we came here. And we get sometimes out of the way because our ego and what the world says that we need to be and how we got to be, that we forget, no, no, we didn't come here for us. We came here for God. We came here because he has a reason for us. He has a purpose. We need to help out more people. We need to do something for somebody. And he comes, and that's when we're hurting, is when he's reminding us, "Hey, you forgot about me. Let's get back again on the track of being with me, and then let's do this again together." And he's forgiving. He's not mad at you if you forgot to be thankful for something. He doesn't abandon you. He definitely doesn't abandon you. And I known people that have gotten what they wanted, and then they forget about God. And then they're back again into the suffering world, and they're like, "Okay, God, let me be with you." And that it's a pattern. It'll keep happening again and again and again. But in every single time, Jesus is forgiving. And he'll knock on your door to remind you how important he is, how you got away from him. And then he'll love you again by giving you greater stuff than what you had before. So don't feel bad if you've forgotten about him. He will get you back again on the road, and your relationship would be stronger than what it was before. At least for me, it's stronger than what it was 7 years ago. Um, and now I'm opening the Bible. Now, I mean, if you would tell me 10 years ago that I was going to know the story of Jonah or the story of Esther or, Matthew, I would tell you there's no way I'm that kind of person. I mean, I'm good with God, but there is no way I'm going to open the Bible. I don't need to open the Bible. I believe in God. But and the Bible has helped me to see that it's not just about believing in him, it's actually walking with him. It's actually doing the work. So you gotta it goes hand by hand. You can't just sit there and say, "I believe in God," and that's it. No, you have to walk with the word of God. Things do get easier. Um, it gets easier when your life is hard. That's when it gets easier. It doesn't just erase it away and then it goes away for forever. No, it helps you to hold on to someone. And I now that I go through what I go through, knowing the things that I know, I feel that when I get away from God or I'm mad at God, I start thinking the scriptures that I have read. And it's like a way of me holding on from his hand and saying, walk with me, please. Don't let me go. And I'll keep repeating the scriptures again and again and again and again. And I know, and I tell myself a lot of times, whatever I'm going through, it will go away. This will pass. This shall pass. This will go away and I will survive this. And then I started thinking about certain moments in my life that I thought I was not going to survive whatever situation I was in. I mean, being a child, um, not thinking that I can survive was my parents' relationship, their divorce, separated from my father, my mother going through a hard time of being a single mom, having, wanting to be there in every single thing of my life, but she couldn't because she had to be a single mom. And then, I did not think I can survive that, having to pretty much raise myself while she worked 2 to 3 jobs. I didn't think I can survive that, and I survived that, and many other things, and I know that every single challenge, we will survive it. We just have to hang in there. We have to open the Bible, walk with those words, think about them again and again. When you first read them, you're gonna feel like, "This doesn't make sense," but it will. It will eventually, and let's say you go through the same problem or something similar, you're going to know that immediately you think of that verse again, it's going to come automatically and you're going to know, okay, I feel good. I got this. I got this. I do that so much. Now, if you would tell me a certain verse, where do I find it? I'm not going to remember it, but I remember what I read and maybe not word by word, but enough for me to hold on to that faith and know that I will go through it and I will get through it. But yeah, so I think that a lot of us tend to lose track of that. I have a sister that her son is autistic, my nephew, my baby boy. Um, and my sister, sorry, I get teary when I talk about either my kid or my nephew. Um, but my sister, who's older than me, she also had a relationship where she knew there was a God. And she's going through a hard time with my nephew and his autism, trying to find a way on how to help him. Um, he's nonverbal and it's a lot. I think that for any mom that has a child that is autistic, my heart goes to you. At least a type of autism that I believe it's hard, right? Because there's autistic kids that are able to function on their own. They have, what I like to say, a regular life. They're talking, they're reading, but there's autism that they're nonverbal, and their brain definitely works differently than other kids. So my sister, she started going through that whole of there is no God. She is going through her own journey where I wish I can constantly tell her, believe in God, believe in God. And for a while, I kept feeling I can't tell her about God because me myself, I'm struggling with my faith. But now I'm starting to tell her whatever little I can about God, whether she believes it or not, that is in her heart. I pray she does. But after whatever I tell her, she'll question again and again. And it's not a wrong thing to question things. Let me tell you. If you have a question about God, go and look it up your own ways, what you think of whatever the Bible tells you. Because whenever I read something, it sounds completely different to somebody else. Yes. So my sister, whenever I try to talk to her about something in the Bible that I feel in my heart I should tell her, she'll reject it. And I understand that. I 100% understand it because it's painful. It's painful what she's going through. I mean, if it's just painful to think of what she goes through, I can only imagine how it is painful for her as a mom. And I wish I had the answer. I wish I can find one verse that can heal her pain and can help her walk through the path of God immediately. But a lot of times I remind myself, this is not for me to convince her. This is her journey. She will find her way to God. She will find that moment whenever she opens the Bible that it can help her pain, and understand that everything has a purpose. I don't think, and I'm sorry if I don't want to offend any mom out there, but I don't think that your son meant to make you autistic, right? We're all born healthy. A lot of us, thankfully, we're all born healthy. I think that we live in an unfair world where sometimes science can go wrong, and our kids suffer or we suffer as well. But I don't think that God meant to have somebody to come here to suffer a disability. Or forgive me again, anyone, if I'm I'm offending you, but I don't feel that God meant to someone to come here with with disabilities and suffer. Um, like I said, I think we live in an unfair world, but this is where God always tells us there is a world where you don't have to suffer and when you won't suffer. And it's when our time comes to go with God, where we all know, every single one of us know eventually we will move on, passed on or die. But it's in that world that we are not hurting. In the meantime, while God gives us life, we have a responsibility to be here, um, to help one another and to love one another, because that's the main commandment that He told us to do, to love one another. Yes, it's a fallen world. It's a world that it's full of sin. We are sinners. Everything and that it's wrong in the world is because of what we have made, what we have done. It wasn't that God did it. God gave us a perfect world. But us as human, we have to go and ruin that. And I tell my husband all the time when when I'm hurting or when I'm cramping or when I was in labor, I would be, oh, you dang, Eve, this is your fault that I'm hurting. I blame it on her because of eating from the apple and disobeying God, that we get those labor pains. Um, but as I was saying, sorry I got out of my topic. My sister right now is extremely upset with God. And I understand her and I try to help her as much as I can, but I also tell myself that I'm also struggling with my faith. But no matter what I know, I'm going to share it with her, because maybe there'll be that one day when she will take a verse to her heart and it can heal her anger and it can heal her pain, even if it's just 1%. That's my dream. And I know she'll find her way. I don't worry about her because I know God has taken care of every single thing now. My sister doesn't know what the future holds, um, but I know that her future will be bright, and I know that Marcel will have a bright future. She has opened a page, an autistic page, and I'm going to start sharing that page for any moms that are struggling, because she does certain things to help him out with his health, so he can have a better quality of life. Um, Even believe in God. They just say they do. Yes. Yes. A lot of people tend to say they believe in him, but again, like I said, they have not opened the Bible. They don't know his word. Um and you can say that you do and not know what the Bible tells you, or not know what the Bible wants you to do. Um I definitely do encounter people where they say they do believe in God. But if I ask them a question about God, they're just like, I did not know that was in the Bible. And I was telling, well, maybe you should go and open it and open it. That would be a definitely a good start to having a relationship with him. It's pretty much like if I knew I know my husband, but I just, don't have a relationship with him. What kind of marriage is that? I need to have a relationship with my husband in order to create a good marriage. I need to have a relationship with Jesus in order to create a good, daughter relationship or daughter and father or a spiritual relationship. And the only way for me to know that, because he's not physical, it's me opening the Bible and getting to know about him. Again, this is an everyday thing that I deal with. It's not just I open the Bible one day and my life has been fixed. No, it's an everyday thing. It's twice a day sometimes I open my Bible and I talk to God, or sometimes it's once a day. I try my best to do it once a day, but sometimes I'm so angry that I'm just like, I need a minute. I need a break. I need a break from him. He never takes a break from me. Um, but I always say, sorry, God, right now I'm a little bit upset, not in the mood. I just want to have a pity party and then, we'll go from there. But once I'm done with my pity party, then I immediately jump in and I say, okay, God, let's figure this out. What do you have for me? Sometimes there's nothing. And it's frustrating at that time, but I know tomorrow will be a better day and tomorrow it's going to have explanation why yesterday was yesterday. And also remembering that even if you don't get your answer, you have to just believe that there's a reason why things happen. You don't have to have an answer for everything. He gave us a word, faith, so we can believe in what he has for us. So we can believe on why we went through what we went through. And one day we'll get it. When we're not here in this world, we'll understand why things were supposed to be the way they are the way they were. Um, mm, she creates really good. Oh, that's awesome. Please, if you can share it with me, I definitely will share it with my sister. She, her Instagram, she likes to build community with people that are going through the same thing. It's hard to find moms out there that can understand you. Mainly, we're finding more moms about, do this and your kid is going to be healed and do that. And I'm sure it has worked for other moms. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of these conditions, it's not just you fix this and now my child is completely talking and he's completely normal, whatever normal is these days. And I feel like that's where a lot of people are misled, and they get more frustrating. She gets so many comments on TikTok saying, I did this from this one lady and my kid's still nonverbal. What do I do? What do you do? And it's hard to hear those stories because people have that hope that their kid is going to heal if they, give them, oregano oil, or if they give them, a detox and that's what helped them out, and they get frustrated if they're doing exactly what they were told to do, but nothing is happening, and then they'll go on to the next page trying to find, help. And it's really hard. It's really hard. I don't understand it. Just my daughter is not autistic, but I do feel for anyone that is going through that, because they go through that feeling of I need to heal my son. And eventually it gets to that feeling of I need to understand my son for who he is, still help him out with eating stuff. I mean, my sister, she does not do any junk food. She cooks everything from scratch. She's extremely careful of what she feeds him, because it's not about healing him at this point. Now she is in that stage, is about helping him in his quality of life so things don't get worse. Um, so she takes care of a lot of his gut issues. He's doing so much better in that sense. And I'm very proud of her because she has worked really hard. I mean, my nephew sometimes can well, was my nephew could go before maybe like 2 days without sleep, and my sister would not sleep either. So that's a really hard thing to do. So I definitely feel for them, and I feel community were more about being there for one another, for moms to support each other through this journey, to be able to talk on the phone and not let them feel alone. instead of so concentrating about healing the kids and healing, and mom's feeling more defeated because they feel that they're doing something wrong. And then faith comes in, somebody to tell them, well, you got to go back to church because the reason you lost your faith or the reason you don't go to church is the reason you're going through with your son, autism, or the reason you're still sick is because you're not going to church and you're not listening or reading the Bible. And that scares you. That really scares you. And instead of getting you closer to God, now you're getting closer to God with the fear, and that actually makes things a lot worse. I did that for a long time. And now I'm just more about God, I want to get to know you with no fear. Or if I'm afraid, forgive me. I'm trying my best. I'm human and I know you know that I'm hurting. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely very hopeful that she'll find her way back to God. Um, and I'm very much I know her journey. Like I said, I don't worry about her and my nephew. I know that he's an amazing boy. He's so handsome. He's so smart in his own way. Um, and my sister is just very hurting. She's a hurting mom, and it's understandable. And God has her, and I wish she knew that. But how I see things, she sees them differently. So I really want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm very much honored of your time. I'm very much grateful and blessed for you being here. I always want to advise you to open the Bible, read the Bible, get to know Jesus, get to know His love, get to know that He has solutions for your problems, and get to have a relationship with Him. And a relationship, like I said, it's not just about knowing that Jesus exists. It's actually getting to know who He is, getting to know what He does for you, getting to know how He wants you to be for Him. We're here in this world for Him. We're not here to live this life for us. We're here to serve Him. I'm here to serve Him. My husband is here to serve Jesus. Whatever way that is, we are here to serve Him. When things get tough, know that things will get better. It's hard in the moment. I mean, I get it. It's hard in the moment to say things will get better. We want more of I want things better now, but things will improve. I tell you this, and I want you to look at your past life and see whenever you have come across a hard moment, things change. Things got better. Things did not stay the same. And things will not stay the same for you right now. Things will change. Give it time. If you want to have a pity party for yourself. Once you're done with that pity party, get all your marbles together and just keep on walking. Remember a verse, ask GPT, what verse can you use today for the day? I certainly asked GPT, listen, GPT, this is what I'm going through. Give me a verse that can help me to walk with God, help me to walk with God, and He'll give me um, a verse to walk with. Don't be afraid of that tool. I always believe technology is about you using technology, not letting technology use you. So I use technology for me to help me understand the Bible. Thank you again for being here. Like I said, it's an honor and a pleasure that you took the time to stay on this page and to ask questions. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.